Mom, what do you mean by these $8? I took my phone and looked at the WeChat transfer records, and I was completely confused. Just now in the family group, mother-in-law Wang Hohat sent 2 transfer screenshots. One is to transfer 8 million to his brother-in-law Lin Hao with the note, down payment for buying a house. The other one was to transfer 8 yuan to me with the note, money for groceries. Lin Hao posted several expressions of gratitude in the group, along with a text, "Thank you, Mom. I will honor you." My husband Lin Feng is in a meeting at this time and has not looked at his phone yet. My mother-in-law replied to me in the group, "What's the matter with 8 yuan? It's enough for you to buy a handful of vegetables. Hao Hao wants to get married and buy a house. I am mother. Can't help him. Why do you, an outsider, care about so much?" Outsider? I have been married for 5 years, have 2 children, and pay a monthly salary of 80,000 yuan. I worry about all the household affairs. In the end, I am an outsider. Lin Hao, on the other hand, is still old at the age of 30. He asks his family for living expenses every month, has dated 7 or 8 girlfriends, and now has a new one, saying he wants to buy a house and get married. I took a deep breath and typed in the group, "Mom, I pay 80,000 yuan in salary every month, and you give me 8 yuan to buy groceries. Hao Hao doesn't earn a penny, so you give him 8 million to buy a house. Is this reasonable?" The mother-in-law replied instantly, "Isn't all the money you earn belong to my son? Hao Hao is my biological son, and I should give him whatever he deserves. You married in, so what qualifications do you have to dictate?" My hands were shaking as I read this message. After 5 years, it turns out that in her eyes, I am just an outsider. At this time, the eldest son Lin Xian ran out of the room. "Mom, I'm hungry. When will I eat?" I looked at my son and remembered the $8 just now. What can $8 buy? A handful of spinach is not enough. Mom is going to cook now. I touched my son's head and walked to the kitchen. I opened the refrigerator, and it was empty. Yesterday's food has been eaten, and we really need to buy food today. But $8? I took out my phone and opened Alipay. The balance shows 127 yuan. This is all my pocket money this month. Last month, Lin Feng said that my family's expenses were high and asked me to hand over all my salary, leaving only the living expenses. I have never found 127 yuan so ridiculous. Just as he was thinking about it, Lin Feng called. "Honey," Mom said she transferred 8 million to Hao Hao to buy a house. His voice sounded a little surprised. "Yes, you also transferred 8 yuan to me to buy groceries." My voice was calm. 8 yuan. Lin Feng was stunned for a moment. Mom may have made a mistake. I'll talk to her later. No need. I hung up the phone. Mistake? 8 million and 8 yuan. Could it be a mistake? I looked at the family group on my phone. My mother-in-law was still chatting with her brother-in-law about buying a house, completely ignoring my question just now. Lin Hao even posted on WeChat moments to show off. "Thanks to my mom, 8 million has arrived. I can buy a house and marry a wife soon." There are a bunch of likes and comments below, all praising him for having a good mother. I took a screenshot and saved the circle of friends and then clicked on Lin Feng's WeChat. "Your brother posted on WeChat to show off his $8 million. Send." A few minutes later, Lin Feng replied, "Hao Hao really should get married, and Mom is doing it for his own good." I stared at this message for a long time. It turns out that in their eyes, everything is taken for granted. I turn in 80,000 yuan every month, and in exchange I get 8 yuan to buy groceries. But my brother-in-law, who never works, can easily get 8 million. I turned off my phone and looked at the empty refrigerator. Let's use these 8 yuan to pay for today's dinner. I want to see what $8 can buy. 2. I took 8 yuan and walked into the vegetable market at the entrance of the community. "Boss, how much does a pound of cabbage cost?" $3. "Where are the potatoes?" $4. I walked around and found that 8 yuan could only buy 2 kilograms of cabbage. When I was about to pay, the vegetable seller looked at the money in my hand and said, "Daughter, you only brought 8 yuan?" I nodded. The aunt looked me over and saw that I was wearing a Chanel suit today and a Cartier watch given by my husband. I really didn't look like I was short of money. "How come you are dressed like this and only buy 8 yuan worth of food?" the aunt asked curiously. I smiled bitterly. My family only gives me so much money to buy groceries. The aunt was stunned for a moment, then shook her head. Today's young people really can't understand. I bought 2 kilograms of cabbage and went home and started thinking about tonight's dinner. 2 pounds of cabbage is enough to feed a family of 4. Lin Xian and his youngest daughter Lin Xian were playing with toys in the living room. When he saw me coming back with vegetables, Lin Xian ran over and said, "Mom, what are you going to eat today?" "Chinese cabbage." "Just cabbage? No meat." Lin Xian was a little disappointed. "No, my family only gave me 8 yuan to buy groceries." I touched my son's head. Although Lin Xian is only 6 years old, he is very smart. "Mom, is 8 yuan a little money?" "Rare." "Then why did you only give Mom $8? I squatted down and looked into my son's eyes. Because in Grandma's eyes, mother is not important. Lin Xian frowned, seeming to understand. At this time, Lin Feng came back from get off work and saw me washing cabbage in the kitchen. He came over and asked, "Are you going to eat cabbage today?" "Yes, 8 yuan can only buy these." Lin Feng was silent for a while. "Honey, don't argue with Mom. She just feels sorry for Hao Hao." "It's okay to feel sorry for Hao Hao, but why do you want to humiliate me?" I stopped what I was doing and looked at him. Mom didn't mean it. Maybe she just didn't think about it that much. "You didn't think that much?" I sneered. "Give 8 million to my brother-in-law and 8 yuan to me. What do you mean you didn't think that much?" Lin Feng was a little impatient. "Okay, I will give you money tomorrow, so please stop making trouble." "Making trouble?" I turn in a salary of 80,000 yuan every month in exchange for a stop making trouble? I'm not making a fuss. I just want to know, who am I in this family? Lin Feng glanced at me and didn't answer. He turned around and went to the living room to spend time with his children. I was alone in the kitchen, looking at the 2 kilograms of cabbage, and suddenly remembered the time when I first got married. At that time, I had just returned from studying abroad and was working in an investment bank with an annual salary of 1 million. My mother-in-law greeted me and said that Feng Feng had found a good wife. Lin Feng was also very considerate at the time and said he would love me forever. But what about now? I became a free nanny, a free cash machine, and had to endure all kinds of humiliation. The phone rang. It was the WeChat message from my best friend Suya. Are you coming to the sisters' gathering tonight? I looked at the cabbage in the kitchen and replied, I'm not going. I'm cooking at home. Cooking again? Why do you cook at home every day now? You didn't come to the last party. There's nothing I can do. I need someone to take care of my family. Li Wan, are you hiding something from me? You have never cooked before. Suya knows me too well. We used to gather at high-end restaurants and never thought about cooking at home. I hesitated and told her what happened today. Son, 소약하게. Li Wan, are you crazy? You turned in your 80,000 yuan salary and got 8 yuan to buy groceries. Suya's voice was full of shock. Now I know it's crazy. I smiled bitterly. You leave at home immediately. What else can you do to live like this? What to do with a child? Fight for custody. With your financial ability, you can definitely win it. I looked at the 2 children in the living room and felt mixed emotions. I'll think about it again. After hanging up the phone, I continued washing the cabbage. At dinner time, a family of 4 sat around the dining table. There is only a plate of stir-fried cabbage on the table. Lin Xin poked the cabbage with a small fork. Mom, why is there no braised pork that I like? Because Mom only has 8 yuan to buy groceries. Lin Feng frowned. Don't tell your child everything. Why can't you say it? This is a fact. I looked at him. If you feel embarrassed, then go and tell your mother. Don't just give me 8 yuan. Lin Feng put down his chopsticks. Li Wan, what's wrong with you today? Do you have to have trouble with Mom? I have no beef with her. I just want a little basic respect. What respect do you want? Mom treats you like her own daughter. I couldn't help but laugh. My biological daughter? Which biological daughter pays 80,000 yuan a month and can only get 8 yuan to buy groceries? Lin Feng stood up. I'm full. After that, he went back to the room. I looked at the table full of cabbage and suddenly lost my appetite. This is my life now. With a salary of 80,000 yuan and 8 yuan to buy groceries, he was still called unreasonable. 3. The next morning, I got up as usual and made breakfast for the whole family. When I opened the refrigerator, there was nothing except the cabbage left over from yesterday. I made cabbage porridge with cabbage and some pickles. Lin Feng went downstairs and saw the breakfast. His expression was ugly. Why is it cabbage again? I can only afford cabbage. I said calmly. Okay, stop acting. Lin Feng took out his wallet and put 500 yuan on the table. Is this enough for you to buy groceries? I looked at the $500 and didn't reach out to take it. I don't want your money. What do you mean? What I want is basic respect, not charity. Lin Feng took a deep breath. Li Wan, are you menopausal now? Why is it so difficult to communicate? Menopause? I am only 32 years old. I'm not menopausal. I'm just figuring things out. At this time, Lin Xian went downstairs with his school bag on his back. When he saw the cabbage porridge on the dining table, his face wrinkled. Mom, is it still cabbage today? Sorry, honey. Mom only has $8. Lin Feng looked at me angrily. That's enough. Don't involve the child. Who involved the child? I asked. If your mother didn't give me 8 yuan, would the child be able to eat this kind of breakfast? Lin Feng picked up his wallet and left. Before leaving, he said, You can make trouble as much as you like. I've had enough. On my way to take Lin Xian to school, my son asked me, Mom, why is Daddy angry? Because Dad thinks Mom shouldn't worry about the $8. But 8 yuan is really very little. Lin Xian said seriously, I even have more pocket money than this. I was stunned. Indeed, the 20 yuan pocket money I give Lin Xian every week is more than what I spend on groceries. Mom, why don't you ask Grandma for more money? Because Grandma thinks Mom is not worthy. Lin Xian tilted his head and thought for a while. Then Mom can buy groceries by herself with her own money. The child's words reminded me. Yes, why should I use the $8 she gave me? I have my own job and my own income. Although my salary is turned in, I still have other accounts. After dropping off the kids, I went directly to the bank. Hello, I would like to check all my account balances. After checking for me, the bank staff told me, you have 3 accounts. The main account balance is 1.26 million. The financial account balance is 3.4 million and the time deposit is 800,000. I was stunned. I actually forgot that I still have this money. These are my savings before I got married, as well as the income from investments in the past few years. Because I usually use my salary card, I rarely use these accounts. 5.46 million. I have 5.46 million, but I argue with my mother-in-law over 8 yuan to buy groceries. Suddenly, it felt ridiculous. I withdrew 10,000 yuan in cash, then went to the supermarket and bought a cart full of ingredients. When I got home, I started preparing a sumptuous lunch. Steak, salmon, lobster, various vegetables and fruits, and snacks that children love to eat. Lin Feng came back at noon and saw the table full of dinner. He asked in surprise, Where did you get the money to buy these? My own money. Don't you have no money? Yesterday you paid for 8 yuan. I never said I didn't have money. I interrupted him. I just want your mother's basic respect. Lin Feng sat down and picked up his chopsticks. Since you have money, then don't worry about how much mom gives you. I put down my chopsticks and looked at him. Feng, do you think the focus of this matter is money? What if? The key is attitude. Your mother gave 8 million to my brother-in-law and 8 yuan to me. What does this mean? Lin Feng picked up a piece of steak and said, it means she loves her brother. Is there anything strange about this? Then who am I in this family? You are my wife and the mother of my child. That's all. Lin Feng glanced at me. What else do you want? I suddenly understood that in his mind, I was just a fertility tool and a free nanny. I want my pay card. What? I want my salary card back. From today on, I will no longer turn in my salary. Lin Feng put down his chopsticks. Li Wan, how long are you going to make trouble? I'm not making trouble. I'm serious. I looked at him. Either your mother apologizes or I take back my economic sovereignty. Are you crazy? What about the family expenses? You and your mother can take it. Lin Feng stood up. Li Wan, don't go too far. Am I the one who went too far? I also stood up. I hand over 80,000 yuan a month, and your mother even gives you 8 yuan to buy groceries. It's so humiliating. Who is too much? Lin Feng turned pale with anger and finally slammed the door and left. I finished lunch alone, and then started sorting out the bills from the past few years. I want to calculate how much I have contributed to this family in the past 5 years. The calculations shocked me. In the past 5 years, I have paid 4.8 million yuan in salary, covering 80% of the family's expenses. Now, the reward I get is 8 yuan a day to buy groceries. I took a screenshot and saved these bills, then took a photo of today's lunch and posted it on Moments. I used my own money to make a good meal for myself and my children. There is some dignity that cannot be measured by money. Soon friends were liking and commenting, asking what happened. I didn't reply, just looked at these concerns quietly. It turns out that there are still people who care about my feelings. 4. On the way to pick up Lin Xian from school in the afternoon, my cell phone kept ringing. They were all called by Lin Feng. I didn't answer and hung up directly. When the 10th phone rang, Lin Xian asked curiously, Mom, why don't you answer Dad's call? Because Mom doesn't want to listen to him. Did Dad do something wrong? Yes, both Dad and Grandma did something wrong. Lin Xian nodded. Then Mom won't forgive them? Unless they apologize. When he got home, Lin Feng was already waiting in the living room. When he saw me coming in, he stood up immediately. Honey, let's talk. There's nothing to talk about. I put down my bag and went to the kitchen to prepare dinner. Lin Feng followed up in the kitchen. What does your circle of friends mean? Literally. Do you want everyone to know that my mother is not good to you? I stopped what I was doing and turned to look at him. Can't we tell the truth? Then you can't post it on Moments. Where does this make my mother's face? When she gave me 8 yuan to buy groceries, did she consider my face? Lin Feng took a deep breath. Okay, I admit that what Mom did was wrong, but you can't retaliate like this. I have no revenge. I just use my own money to cook for my children. Then you delete your WeChat Moments, and I'll go tell your mom and ask her to apologize to you. I shook my head. It's too late. What's the meaning? I figured it out. It's not just a matter of $8, it's a matter of attitude. At this time, his mother-in-law called, and Lin Feng answered the call and turned on the speakerphone. Feng, what Moments did your wife post? Several people called me to ask. The mother-in-law's voice sounded unhappy. I grabbed the phone and said, Mom, I just sent a photo of myself cooking and didn't say anything outrageous. What do you mean? Do you think I gave you less money? I don't think it's too little. I just think it's unreasonable. Unreasonable? My mother-in-law's voice raised an octave. You still think it's unreasonable if I give you money? If I don't give you money, just buy it yourself. Okay, then I will buy it myself from now on. You. My mother-in-law choked. Lin Feng quickly picked up the phone. Mom, don't be angry. We'll talk about it later. After hanging up the phone, Lin Feng looked at me. Look how angry I am. Why is she angry? I didn't ask for her money. Li Wan, can you calm down? I put down the kitchen knife in my hand. Lin Feng, let me ask you a question. You say, what would you think if your sister married into someone else's family and paid a monthly salary of 80,000 yuan and her mother-in-law gave her 8 yuan to buy groceries? Lin Feng was stunned. Do you think that's reasonable? Lin Feng was silent for a long time before saying, that's different. What's the difference? You are a family. Then your sister is no longer a family after she gets married? Lin Feng was speechless when I asked him. I continued. You feel sorry for your sister. Why can't you understand how I feel? Forget it. Let's not talk about it. I picked up the kitchen knife again. I will prepare delicious food for the children tonight. You can eat it if you want to eat it. If you don't want to eat it, forget it. For dinner, I made sweet and sour pork and steamed egg custard that the kids loved. Lin Xian and Lin Xian ate happily and kept praising their mother's delicious food. Lin Feng also ate silently without speaking. After dinner, I played with the children for a while and then put them to sleep. After the children fell asleep, Lin Feng came to our bedroom. Honey, let's have a good talk. I put down my phone and said, just tell me. I admit Mom did go too far. $8 is really too little. Then what? I will tell her and ask her to apologize. Is an apology enough? I looked at him. Feng, do you think the problem is just the amount of money? Lin Feng sat beside the bed. Then what do you think the problem is? It's a matter of status. In your mother's mind, I'm just an outsider, a free nanny. No, Mom just loves Hao Hao too much. It's okay to hurt Hao Hao, but you shouldn't step on me. Lin Feng was silent for a while. Then what do you want? I want a salary card, and I want financial independence. What about the household expenses? We can do it on an AA basis, or bear it on a proportional basis. Lin Feng frowned. AA system? We are husband and wife, not roommates. Does being married mean that I have to devote myself unconditionally? I didn't mean that. Then do as I say. I looked at him. Either I manage the family finances, or we manage them separately. Lin Feng thought for a while. I need time to think about it. Okay, but I won't hand over my salary while you're thinking about it. That night, Lin Feng tossed and turned and couldn't sleep. I know he's struggling, but I won't compromise anymore. 5 years of grievance. Starting from today's 8 yuan, I want to get it back bit by bit. 5. On the morning of the third day, I was making breakfast in the kitchen when the doorbell rang. Lin Feng went to open the door and heard his mother-in-law's voice. Feng, I'm here to see the children. I felt nervous. She would definitely be up to no good if she came here this time. Sure enough, my mother-in-law walked into the kitchen and saw me frying steak, and her face immediately darkened. Oh, this is such a delicious meal, she said in a sinister tone. I ignored her and continued making breakfast. Li Wan, I heard Feng say, do you want to take back your salary card? Yes. I didn't look back. What do you mean? Do you think I, the mother-in-law, can't manage the family well? I put down the spatula and turned to look at her. Mom, do you think you are managing well? Of course you manage it well. Hasn't this family been doing well in the past few years? Good. I sneered. You gave my brother-in-law 8 million, and you gave me 8 yuan. Is this called good? The mother-in-law's face turned red. What happened to the 8 yuan? It's enough to buy groceries. What kind of food can you buy? Go to the vegetable market and see what you can buy with 8 yuan. If you can't buy good food, buy bad food. When our family was poor in the past, we would break every penny in half and spend it. That was before, but it's different now. I said calmly, now I pay a monthly salary of 80,000 yuan, and I feel that I am qualified to demand basic respect. Respect. My mother-in-law sneered. You married in. What respect do you want? This sentence completely angered me. Wang Hohot, let me tell you, I am not the slave you bought. I called her by her name for the first time. I am Lin Feng's wife and the mother of my children. I have my dignity. My mother-in-law was shocked by my words and didn't react for a long time. Lin Feng heard the sound and ran over. Stop making noise. The child is still sleeping. She was the one who started the trouble. My mother-in-law pointed at me. I came to see my grandson properly, and then she started to make trouble. I'm not looking for trouble. I'm just stating the facts. Lin Feng looked at the two of us and said with a headache, Mom, please go back first, and we will solve it ourselves. I won't leave. Mother-in-law sat on the sofa. I must speak clearly today. Li Wan, what exactly do you want to do? I want an apology. Apologize? My mother-in-law's eyes widened. What should I apologize to you for? I apologize for giving me $8 to buy groceries. Is it wrong for me to give you money? 8 yuan. Don't you think it's humiliating? The mother-in-law stood up and said, I did it on purpose. Why do you, an outsider, ask for so much? How is my biological son? I am willing to give you any amount. She finally told the truth. Since you admit that you deliberately humiliated me, why should I endure it? Because you married into our Lin family. Will you be humiliated if you marry into the Lin family? I laughed. Wang Hohot, please understand, this is the 21st century, not the old society. My mother-in-law was so angry that she couldn't speak. Lin Xian woke up at this time, walked to the living room, saw us arguing, and hid behind Lin Feng with some fear. I calmed down immediately, walked over, and picked up my son. Xian, it's okay. Mom and Grandma are discussing the problem. Lin Xian looked at me, then at her mother-in-law, and asked in a low voice, Mom, why are you quarreling? The mother-in-law immediately changed her expression and said kindly to Lin Xian, Grandma didn't quarrel. It was my mother who was disobedient. I took a deep breath. I didn't want to say anything harsh in front of my children. Xian, go wash your hands and get ready for breakfast. Lin Xian went to the bathroom obediently. My mother-in-law looked at his back and said to me, Li Wan, for the sake of the child, don't make too much trouble. Am I going too far? I almost laughed out loud. Who is going too far? Okay, Lin Feng suddenly shouted. That's enough for you. What's the noise like this early in the morning? I looked at him. You think it's my fault? I'm not saying whose fault it is, but could you please stop? I nodded. Okay, I'll stop. I turned back to the kitchen and continued making breakfast. From behind, the mother-in-law's voice whispered to Lin Feng. Feng, your wife has strong wings now, and even I don't take her seriously. Mom, please stop talking. Why can't I say that? I worked so hard to raise you, but now that you have a daughter-in-law, you don't want a mother anymore? No, Mom, you are overthinking. Am I overthinking? She doesn't even pay her salary now, and she still wants me to apologize to her. What's the point of this? I was listening to these words in the kitchen and suddenly felt very tired. This family will never have my place. I took out my phone and sent Suya a WeChat message. Yaya, you are right. Some things are really not worth saving. Soon, Suya replied. Do you understand? I figured it out. Can I help you? No need for now. I'll take care of it. I put down my phone, looked at the steak in the pot, and suddenly made a decision. This may be the last time I cook breakfast in this kitchen. 6. During breakfast, the family sat at the dining table and the atmosphere was awkward. The mother-in-law kept picking up food for Lin Xian and Lin Xian while saying, Come on, Xian, eat more to grow healthy. Xian also needs to eat more and not be picky about food. Then she turned to me and said, Li Wan, don't add too many seasonings when cooking for your children. It's not good for your children. I responded calmly. I won't cook here anymore. What do you mean? Lin Feng raised his head. I'm moving out for a while. The table fell silent for a moment. Where's Mom going? Lin Xian asked anxiously. I touched his head and said, Mom is going to live outside for a few days and think about some things. What about us? Lin Xian also started to worry. You live with Dad and Grandma. Lin Feng put down his chopsticks. Li Wan, are you threatening me? It's not a threat. It's just that I need to calm down. The mother-in-law sneered. Just move. Do you think the earth will stop spinning without you? I glanced at her without retorting. Lin Xian suddenly cried. Mom, I don't want you to leave. It breaks my heart to see my son cry, but I have to persevere. Xian, Mom is just leaving temporarily. It doesn't mean she will never come back. But I will miss my mother. Mom will miss you too. I hugged him, but there are some things that Mom must deal with. Lin Feng stood up. Li Wan, do you have to go to this point? I'm not making trouble. I'm serious. I let go of Lin Xian and looked at Lin Feng. Feng, we need to re-examine our relationship. What's the relationship? We are husband and wife. Husbands and wives should be equal and respect each other. When did I disrespect you? I pointed at my mother-in-law. Where were you when she gave me $8 to humiliate me? Lin Feng was speechless. When she said I was an outsider, did you speak up for me? Lin Feng lowered his head. So, I need time to think clearly whether it is necessary to continue this kind of marriage. Li Wan, mother-in-law stood up. You are threatening my son. I'm not threatening anyone. I looked at her calmly. I'm just making choices for my own life. Do you think you can live a better life without our Lin family? At least no one will give me $8 to buy groceries and then call it charity. The mother-in-law turned blue with anger. You white-eyed wolf. White-eyed wolf. I laughed. Wang Hohot, I have paid 4.8 million yuan in salary in the past 5 years and shouldered 80% of the family's expenses. Who is the white-eyed wolf? You should have paid for that money. When you married into our family, shouldn't you have contributed? What about your son? What did he contribute? He makes money to support his family. How much does he earn in a month? 30,000. How much do I earn in a month? 80,000. Who is supporting the family? My mother-in-law was speechless by what I said. Lin Feng also fell silent. At this time, my cell phone rang. It was Sia calling. Yeah. 1-1. I'm downstairs at your house. Come down. I hung up the phone and said to Lin Feng, my luggage has been packed and placed in a room. When did you clean it up? After you fell asleep last night. Lin Feng was stunned. Have you already planned it? Yes, I thought about it all night and decided to give myself some time to calm down. I walked up to Lin Xian, squatted down and looked at him levelly. Xian, Mommy is leaving temporarily. You have to listen to Daddy and Grandma, do you understand? Lin Xian cried and nodded. When will Mom come back? I'll come back when Mom thinks about it clearly. I hugged Lin Xian again. The little girl didn't quite understand what happened. She just watched her brother cry, and she cried too. I picked up my suitcase and walked to the door. Lin Feng followed. Li Wan, do you really want to leave? Right. What about us? What are you doing? I stopped and looked back at him. You have your mother taking care of you, and your brother has 8 million to buy a house. Aren't you living a good life? But the children need their mothers. They do need a mother, but not a humiliated mother. I looked at him. Lin Feng, I hope you can understand that a self-respecting mother can raise self-respecting children. After that, I left without looking back. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later. That's all we know. But I know that this step must be taken. For myself and for the kids. 7. Suya drove me away from the community where I had lived for 5 years. Where to go? She asked. Whatever. Let's find a hotel to stay in first. Don't stay in the hotel. Come to my place. No, I don't want to trouble you. No need to worry. We are best friends. Suya glanced at me. Besides, you need someone to accompany you now. I nodded. I really needed someone to talk to. Suya's apartment is in the city center and is very warmly decorated. She made me a cup of tea and sat across from me. How do you feel now? Relieved, but reluctant to let go of the child. You gave birth to the child, and he will return to you sooner or later. Suya comforted me. The most important thing now is that you figure out what to do next. I thought about it. Divorce first, then fight for custody. There is no problem financially. With your income and savings, you can definitely win custody rights. Suya analyzed. The key is, have you made up your mind? It's decided. I said with certainty. Yeah, when my mother called me a white-eyed wolf just now, I suddenly thought of my mother. What do you remember? My mother told me when I was young that women must have their own career and money and cannot be completely dependent on men. I smiled bitterly, but after I got married, I actually forgot all of this. You loved Lin Feng too much at that time. Love will make people lose their minds. Yes, but now I understand that love without self-esteem is not love. It is self-destruction. We chatted until late, and Suya prepared a guest room for me. Lying on the bed, I took out my phone and saw that Lin Feng had sent more than a dozen WeChat messages. Honey, where have you been? The children kept crying. They missed their mother. Come back and let's talk. I told my mother, and she was willing to apologize. Li Wan, stop making trouble and come back. The last one was sent an hour ago. If you don't reply to my message, I will treat you as agreeing to divorce. I looked at this message and laughed. He thought I was threatening him and that I would eventually compromise and go back. But he didn't know that I was serious this time. I replied, agree. I will contact the lawyer tomorrow. After sending it, I turned off the phone and went to sleep. The next morning, it was already 10 o'clock when I woke up. This was the most solid sleep I've had in years. Suya had already gone to work and left me a note. There is breakfast in the refrigerator. Heat it up yourself. We will meet the lawyer together in the afternoon. I ate something simple and then started to sort out the financial information of the past few years. I want to clearly account for my contribution to this family. While I was busy, the doorbell rang. I thought it was Suya who was back, but when I opened the door, I saw it was Lin Feng. He looked very haggard, his eyes were red, and he obviously hadn't slept all night. How did you find this place? I asked your colleague. Lin Feng looked at me. Li Wan, let's talk. There's nothing to talk about. I was about to close the door, but he stopped me. Please, just 5 minutes. I looked at him and finally let him in. Say it. Lin Feng sat on the sofa and covered his face with his hands. I didn't sleep last night and thought a lot. What do you want to understand? I want to understand that I did something wrong. He raised his head and looked at me. Li Wan, I apologize to you. Then what? Then let's start over, okay? I shook my head. It's too late, Foam Foam. Why is it late? I apologized. Because this is not a problem that can be solved by apologizing. I sat across from him. This is a matter of principle. What principle? The principle of respect, the principle of equality. I looked at him. Foam Foam, why do you think I am so angry over 8 yuan? Because the money is too little? It's not because of money, it's because of attitude. I sighed. $8 represents contempt and humiliation, and your reaction made me understand my true status in this family. We can change it. How to change it? Can your mother change it? Lin Feng was silent. I continued. After I left yesterday, did she reflect on her behavior? Did she feel that she had done something wrong? She said you were too pretentious. I smiled. Look, this is the answer. In her heart, I have no right to demand respect. Then I will control her and not let her do this again. Can you control it? Besides, why should I look at other people's faces in my own home? Lin Feng was speechless. I stood up. Foam Foam, let's end it. It's good for both of us. But what about the children? I will fight for custody of the children. Don't even think about it. Lin Feng suddenly became excited. The children belong to our Lin family. You can't even think of taking them away. I sneered. From the Lin family? I gave birth to them in 10 months of pregnancy, so they are from the Lin family? Legally, the child has his father's surname, so of course he belongs to the Lin family. Then let's meet in court. I walked towards the door. You can go. Lin Feng stood up. Li Wan, don't force me. What are you forcing me to do? If you really want a divorce, I will let you leave the house. I was stunned for a moment and then laughed. Get clean and leave the house? Lin Feng, please figure out who is supporting the family in the past few years. The house is in my name. I paid the down payment for the house, and I'm also paying off the mortgage. I looked at him. Also, do you think I have no evidence? I took out my mobile phone and looked at the transfer records of the past few years. For $0.8 million in wages, $2 million in mortgages, $1.5 million in household expenses, and various gifts and favors, a total of more than $9 million. Lin Feng, what do you think the judge will sentence? Lin Feng looked at those numbers, his expression getting uglier and uglier. Also, I have my own savings, more than $5 million. Even if I really clean up and leave the house, I can still live a good life. I said calmly, it's you if you leave me. How will you raise your children? What will you use to pay off the mortgage? Lin Feng was completely dumbfounded. So, don't threaten me. I opened the door. Just go. The lawyer will contact you. Looking at Lin Feng's desolate back, I suddenly felt relaxed. It turns out that bravely saying no feels so good. 8. In the afternoon, Suya accompanied me to the law office. The lawyer's name is Zhang Min, a senior lawyer who specializes in matrimonial disputes. She carefully read the information I prepared and nodded. Ms. Li, based on the evidence you provided, we are very confident about this case. What confidence? First of all, in terms of property division, your contribution during the marriage far exceeds that of the other party, and the court will consider this. Lawyer Zhang analyzed, secondly, in terms of child custody, your financial ability is stronger, and there is evidence that the other family has treated you improperly. Inappropriate treatment? Mental torture can also be considered a type of domestic violence. Lawyer Zhang explained, long-term belittling and humiliation can have a serious impact on the mental health of the client. I nodded. How long will it take? If the other party cooperates, the fastest is 3 months. If the other party does not cooperate, it may take half a year to a year. I want to resolve it as soon as possible. Understood. I suggest sending a lawyer's letter first to put some pressure on the other party. Usually, when the other party sees that we have sufficient evidence, they will choose to negotiate a settlement. After finishing the formalities, Suya asked me, do you regret it now? I don't regret it, but I am very happy. I took a deep breath. Yeah, I feel like I have found myself again. What's the meaning? I used to be confident, independent, and independent-minded. In the past 5 years of marriage, I seem to have become a different person, cautious and willing to compromise. I looked at the people coming and going on the street. Now I understand that that is not love, that is self-consumption. That night, Lin Feng came to see me again. This time, he brought Lin Xian. My heart melts when I see my son. Mom, Lin Xian threw herself into my arms. I miss you so much. Mom misses you too. I hugged him tightly and couldn't help but shed tears. Lin Feng looked at us mother and son with red eyes. Li Wan, look how much your children miss you. Do you really have a heart to leave them? I'm not leaving them. I'm taking them out of that home. What happened to that home? That's our home. No, that's not my home. I shook my head. In that home, I was just a free nanny. Lin Xian raised his little face and looked at me. Mom, are you and Dad getting divorced? Children understand everything. Xian, if your parents separate, who would you like to be with? Lin Xian thought for a while. I want to be with my mother, but I can't let go of my father either. What if Mom told you that you would be happier if you talked to Mom? Really? Really. Mom will give you a better life and a better education. Lin Feng was anxious. Li Wan, don't brainwash your children. I'm not brainwashing. I'm telling him the truth. I looked at Lin Feng. What can he get by following you? A father who works late every day? A grandmother who values boys over girls? Mom doesn't favor boys over girls. Don't favor boys over girls? Then why did she give Lin Hao 8 million ME8 yuan? Lin Feng was speechless. I hugged Lin Xian and patiently explained, Xian, Mom and Dad may have to live separately, but no matter what, we love you and your sister, and this will never change. Then can I see Dad often? Sure. Lin Feng looked at me with despair in his eyes. Li Wan, have you really decided? It's decided. Then can we get together and part ways? I felt bad looking at his haggard look. After all, they are people who have fallen in love, and no one wants to reach this point. Yes, as long as you cooperate. What cooperation? Cooperate with the division of property and the handling of child custody. Lin Feng was silent for a long time and finally nodded. Okay, I will cooperate. Looking at the backs of their father and son leaving, I felt mixed emotions. But I know this is the right choice. A mother who is not respected cannot teach her children to have self-respect. I want to set an example for my children and tell them that they can have more choices in life. 9. A week later, the lawyer told me that Lin Feng was willing to negotiate. What conditions did they propose? The house belongs to you, but they want custody of the child. Lawyer Zhang said. No, both children have to come with me. Ms. Li, from a legal perspective, if the man insists on having a child, the court is likely to support it. After all, the relationship between the child and the father must be considered. I thought for a while. Then I'll go talk to him. That afternoon, I went to my original home. When I opened the door, I saw that the living room was in a mess, and it was obvious that no one had cleaned it up. Lin Feng was sitting on the sofa, unshaven, and looking very decadent. You're here. He saw me and stood up. Where are the children? Playing with friends downstairs. I sat down and got straight to the point. The lawyer said you want custody of a child? Yes, Lin Xian is with me, and Lin Xian is with you. Why? Because Xian is a boy and should be with his father. I sneered. Is this the theory again? Boys must live with their fathers. It's tradition. What tradition? Feudal dross. I looked at him. Lin Feng, what do you think you can give Xian? I can give him fatherly love. Father's love? You work until 10 o'clock every day and work overtime on weekends. Do you have time to give him father's love? Lin Feng was silent. I continued. And your mother? Can she take good care of Xian? Don't forget, she still hates me because of the 8 yuan thing. Do you think she will vent this emotion on her children? No, Mommy loves her children. Do you love your child? I took out my phone and pulled out a photo. What is this? The photo shows Lin Xian's homework book, which has signs of being torn off. This is Xuan's math homework yesterday. Your mother tore it up. Do you know why? Lin Feng looked at the photo and asked in surprise. Why? Because Xian wrote, I miss my mother on the homework. Your mother said it was disobedient, so she tore up the homework. I looked at him. Is this what you call loving your child? Lin Feng's expression changed. I don't know about this. There are still many things you don't know. I put away my phone. Lin Feng, let me ask you one last time. Do you really think you can give your children a better life? Lin Feng lowered his head and didn't speak for a long time. I just can't let go of the child. His voice was low. I understand, and I can't bear to part with you either. My tone softened, but Foam, for the sake of our children's future, we all have to make the best choice. Can you promise them a better life? I can. I said with certainty. I have the ability to give them the best education and the best living environment. More importantly, I will respect them and let them learn to respect others. Lin Feng raised his head and looked at me. What about me? When can I see my child? Anytime, as long as you want to see me. I said, Feng, although we can't be husband and wife anymore, we can still be friends for the sake of our children. He nodded. Okay, I agree. Real. Really. Lin Feng stood up. I'll go downstairs and ask the children to come up. You can tell them. 10 minutes later, Lin Xian and Lin Xian ran upstairs and were very excited when they saw me. Mom, are you home? Lin Xian threw herself into my arms. Xin, Mom wants to tell you something. I held the 2 children in my arms and explained patiently, Mom and Dad have decided to live separately, but you have to live with your mother, okay? Why do they live separately? Lin Xian asked. Because Mom and Dad have some unresolved problems. What about Dad? Lin Xian asked worriedly. Dad will have his own life, and you can visit him often. The 2 children looked at me and then at Lin Feng. With Mom, can we still live here? Lin Xian asked. No, we have to move to a new home. What will your new home be like? Bigger, prettier, and you have your own room. The children's eyes lit up. Really? Really? Mom has already taken good care of it. I haven't actually looked at houses yet, but I will find the best one as soon as possible. Lin Feng looked at us quietly from the side, his eyes full of reluctance. But he didn't stop me. I think he really figured it out. That night, I stayed in a hotel near my new home. Early the next morning, I started looking at houses. I want to give my children a real home, a home full of love and respect. 10. A month later, the divorce procedures were completed. Our property division went smoothly. The house belonged to me. The savings were divided according to the proportion of each person's contribution, and I got most of it. Custody of the children was also given to me. I bought a 3-bedroom apartment in the city center and decorated it very warmly. Lin Xian and Lin Xian both have their own rooms and a game room. On the day of moving, Suya and several friends came to help. The new home is so beautiful. Lin Xian walked around in her room. Mom, I like it here so much. As long as you like it. I touched her head. This is our new beginning. Lin Xian looked at the scenery outside on the balcony. Mom, you can see very far from here. Yes, we also need to broaden our horizons. For dinner, I cooked the children's favorite dishes. Mom, will we live here from now on? Lin Xian asked. Yes, this is our home. What about Dad? Dad has his own home, but when you miss him, you can visit him. Are we still a family? Lin Xian asked innocently. Of course, we just live in different places. I said softly. No matter what happens, you will always be Mom's favorite baby. After putting the children to bed at night, I sat in the living room and looked at this new home, feeling very satisfied. The phone rang, and it was a WeChat message from Linfeng. Are the children okay? Very good. They like their new home very much. When can I go see them? Come anytime you want. Thanks. Phone, we all need to be good, for the sake of our children. I know, Li Wan, although we can't be husband and wife anymore, I hope you can be happy. Seeing this news, my eyes were a little moist. The same as you. The next day, I went back to work. Because of the divorce, I applied to be transferred to another department, away from colleagues who pay attention to gossip. My colleagues in the new department are very friendly. After knowing that I was a single mother, they even took the initiative to help me share some work. Director Li, there is a client who wants to meet with you. Assistant Xiao Wang walked into the office. What client? A new investment company said to be very powerful. Okay, let's make arrangements. In the afternoon, I met the client at the coffee shop. He is a man in his 40s, well-dressed and elegant in conversation. Director Li, I have long admired your name. He stretched out his hand. I am Chen Hao, the general manager of Howard Investment. Hello, Mr. Chen. We talked about cooperation for an hour. Chen Hao's professional level is very high, and the plan he proposed is also very attractive. Director Li, our company is looking for a senior investment consultant. Are you interested? Job hopping? Yes, we can offer you better terms than you have now. I thought for a moment. I need to think about it. Of course, here's my business card. You can contact me anytime. When I got home, I told Suya about this opportunity. Job hopping? This is a good thing. Suya was very excited. You are single now. It is a good time to develop your career. But I have to take care of the kids. Didn't they say the conditions are better? Maybe the working hours are more flexible. I nodded. I can indeed consider it. Over the past few months, I have clearly felt that I have changed. In the past, I was always cautious, afraid of doing something wrong. Now I am more confident and dare to fight for myself. Divorce is not the end for me, but a new beginning. 2 weeks later, I accepted Chen Hao's offer. The benefits in the new company are indeed better. The annual salary is 300,000 yuan higher than before, and the working hours are more flexible. On my first day of employment, Chen Hao personally led me to familiarize myself with the environment. Director Li, this is your office. The office is large, has good lighting, and has a view of the river. Thank you, Mr. Chen. You're welcome. We value your ability very much. Chen Hao said with a smile. By the way, the company will have a celebration next month, and I hope you can participate. Sure. The new job makes me busier, but also more fulfilling. Several projects I have been responsible for have been successful and have been recognized by the company. The children also adapted to their new life. Lin Xian made many friends in the new school, and his grades improved. Lin Xinza became the squad leader in the kindergarten and was very happy every day. Lin Feng visited the children regularly, and our relationship gradually eased. Li Wan, I'm very happy to see you living so well, he said once when he came to pick up the child. What about you? How are you doing? Fortunately, I'm very busy at work. He paused. Mom regrets it now. She said she shouldn't have treated you like that. What's past is past, I said calmly. We all have to move on. Yes, look forward. Half a year later, the company celebration was held as scheduled. I wore a black dress and light makeup and looked energetic. Director Li, you are so beautiful today. Chen Hao came over and handed me a glass of champagne. Thank you, Mr. Chen. Can I ask you to dance? I was a little surprised, but nodded anyway. On the dance floor, Chen Hao said softly, Director Li, I want to ask you a personal question. What's the problem? Do you have a boyfriend now? I looked at him and understood what he meant. Mr. Chen, we have a cooperative relationship. I know, but I want to take the relationship further. He looked at me seriously. I'm serious. I thought about it and said, let me think about it. When I got home, I told my children about it. Mom, how is Uncle Chen? Lin Xian asked. He is a very nice person and very supportive of my mother's work. Does Mom like him? Lin Xian asked, tilting her head. I smiled. Xin, Mom hasn't thought about it clearly yet. If Mom likes Uncle Chen, will we have an extra dad? It's not that you have an extra father. You will always have only one father. I explained, if Mom and Uncle Chen are together, he is Mom's friend. Then will he be good to us? Yes, he is a very gentle person. In fact, I already have the answer in my mind. Chun Hao is indeed a good person, with a successful career and good character. More importantly, he respects me and appreciates my abilities. When I'm with Lin Feng, I always feel like I'm accommodating him. But with Chun Hao, what I feel is equality and respect. That's the difference. A month later, I accepted Chun Hao's feelings. We didn't rush to live together or get married, but slowly got to know each other. Chun Hao is very good to children, playing games with them and helping them with their homework. Children also like him very much. After Lin Feng learned about this, he was a little disappointed, but he also expressed his blessings. As long as you are happy, he said. Thanks. Chun Hao is a good man. I have met him several times, and he is a very nice person. Li Wan, I want to say sorry to you. Lin Feng suddenly became serious. I was ignorant and failed to protect you before. It's all over. There is no past. I will remember this lesson. He looked at me. If there is a next time, I will definitely do better. I nodded and said nothing more. Some mistakes only get one chance. If you miss it, you miss it.